Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame and Cinnamon Sugar. Y'all don't mind Cinnamon Sugar. I had to blow her out because I'm about to attempt, and I mean attempt. I'm going to attempt to braid my hair up, which was what I wanted to do for the holidays. And pretty much that's been a fail so far because I actually could have been almost done, if not done with my hair by now. From the time I got off work yesterday and got home and got settled, took a nap and woke up, I really could have been done. Um, but yeah, I did, but the thing is, I didn't do anything before I went to sleep. I was exhausted though. I had to pull a 12-hour shift yesterday. All of that, whatever, y'all. So I'm gonna get into some of that stuff later on before I go back to work on Tuesday. But y'all see the title, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Okay. So pretty much the summer of 2021, the most was going down in Montgomery, Alabama. My mama ended up calling me months after everything actually happened to tell me what was going on with her, right? So when she I think she reached out to me on Facebook or she texted me and said, "Hey, call me um before you go to sleep." And I said, "Okay." And this was when I was working Fridays through Tuesdays. So this was Monday evening. So I called her. I'm like, oh, "Okay." I ain't think nothing of it, but kind of like, okay. Sometimes, see, my mama it just depends on what's going on. Most of the time, she'll just straight up just tell me what it is, and then I go on by my business. Or sometimes, like, I don't know, this was just different. So I kind of couldn't pinpoint what kind of conversation it was going to be, so I didn't even think nothing of it. So I ended up calling her. So I'm like, "Hey, Mom, how you doing? Whatever, whatever." And I'm talking to her, and so she was like, "Okay." So I made a list of everything I got to talk to you about. So I was like, so now at this point, I'm like, you done made a list. Like my mama really had a pen and paper and made a list. Cause she was like, "Oh, I didn't want to forget anything." And I'm like, okay. So I already told y'all, I think, about one of the things. Because the list went from the least to the most. Meaning the like it might have been a bad situation or whatever, but it was like it just got progressively worse as she went down her list. One of the things that she told me was about my uncle. Now, I think I've told y'all about my uncle before. This particular uncle married into our family, and he was in my parents' wedding. He and his wife were in my parents' wedding. I am almost positive that this uncle was either just a regular groomsman or he was the uh best man. Like he and my daddy are super cool. I ain't never seen them argue. They man Whenever my uncle needs something, he'll call my daddy. Like they were like the best of friends, right? So I'm like, "What you mean?" Like when she said his name, I was like, "What you mean? What you talking about?" Like if you knew my uncle, you would be shocked to even think anything could be going on with him. He was fit. He had always, every time you see him, like he's always nice to everybody. Like didn't seem like anything could be wrong with him. Now, before I did leave Alabama, he did have cancer and he beat cancer. So yeah. Well, with that situation, after a long time of going back and forth to the doctors, we found out that they finally diagnosed him with having dementia. Now, prior to that, my aunt was taking him back and forth to the doctor, and people were like, "He seems fine. We don't understand." But when everything first started, he was in the middle of coming back from a job, y'all. Like he like builds houses and stuff, and like he has his own company. He's a black-owned business. He's had his own company since before I was born. So he has his own business, and he has some of his crew members with him in the work truck, and he's like on the road, and it's like he forgot what was going on And they on the side of the road pretty much. Like, they were finally able to convince him to pull over. He didn't understand what was going on. He didn't know where he was supposed to be going. I was just sitting there listening to my mama talking about this, like, what are you talking about? So my aunt had to go get him. Then they had to go back and get the work truck from off the side of the road. It was too much going on. So my aunt is already kind of peculiar as it is. I love her. I ain't got no issues with her, and I'm not trying to say that in a negative way. Like, if you were around her as much as I was as a child, all the way up to now growing up, yeah, you would understand what I mean. I'm really not trying to be facetious at all. But she's already very peculiar. Peculiar. So, with that happening with my uncle, that kind of made things even worse. So, I'm glad that she was comfortable enough to come to my folks and tell them what was going on, because I think for a while she kind of wanted to try to figure out what was going on and didn't really tell that many people. But yeah, they kind of just recently said, okay, we're diagnosing him with dementia. Like, and it's like 1 minute he knows exactly who you are, and the next minute he don't. And y'all, when I tell y'all, one day my aunt ended up calling and leaving me a video message, and they were sitting together, and he actually said my name in the video. Oh my gosh. He said my name in the video, y'all. As soon as he said my name in the video, I just started crying. I'm just thinking about that. I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse me. But y'all don't understand. My uncle is so, like, he is so sweet. Like, he would give anything for anybody else. He is one of the few uncles that I have ever had that, like, he is everything. Like, he is on the level of who my daddy is. So if I didn't have my daddy, I would definitely want him to be my daddy. So anyway, y'all, for him to be going through this, don't nobody know what's going on, at first or whatever, it was just too much. And my aunt was dealing with it by herself. She going back and forth, in and out of town, going to various doctors. Like, it was too much. So my mama had told me that about him, and I'm still trying to get over that. Like, I can't even remember what she was saying prior to that, but that was like a major thing that she said. So in my mind, I'm like, ain't no way you could tell me something else worse than this. So then she like, all right, last on the list is me. So I'm like, what? What you mean? So I'm already, like, y'all don't understand. I'm already distraught by the time she done got to my uncle. So now she talking about the last on the list is her. What is you talking about, Mom? So anyway, she said, I have a list like I told you before. I want to make sure that I don't forget nothing. And I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? I'm going to start going down the list. So she says, this is something your sister don't know. I have diabetes. And like, for the longest, my mother has never had diabetes. She is overweight, and she's bigger than me. And even though she had been losing weight, my mama has been struggling with her weight like most of her life. Like, when she and my daddy got together, she was a twig. Cause like, before they got together, I don't know. Anyway, she was a twig, but like, she is very overweight now, right? And so it's just the fact that she struggled with her weight, and like, she really, when she's dedicated. And a lot of the stuff that we've done as a family to lose weight, it has worked well, but it just kept fluctuating or whatever. So she had been losing weight before everything that I'm about to tell y'all ended up happening. So I'm just like, okay, y'all. So she has diabetes, and I'm like, okay. So she said she's had it for quite some time, but not to tell my sister about it because she doesn't know about it just yet. And so I'm saying to myself, why didn't y'all tell her that? What's going on? And I think she has one of the ones where it kind of it administers the medicine in you on its own. I think that's how hers is set up. I had a teacher who was like that. I think he was born, and the way he was born, he had to be like that the whole time. Okay, y'all. So she done told me that. So now we come to the story. So then she's like, I gotta tell you about everything that happened. So she's telling me about the series of events. So my daddy's birthday is in the summertime. She said, your daddy's birthday came, and I'm trying to watch these people because these people be trying me. Your daddy's birthday came, and she said she got up to go to the bathroom, and her leg went out on her. Now, for those of y'all who don't know what that means, it basically means that your leg just randomly gives away from under you, like without warning. It's not as if you tripped on air, none of that. It just gave away. That has happened to me before. And so when my mama used to say that, I used to be like, what in the world? Then it started happening to me. Now, I don't know if it had any connection to the fact that we both have arthritis or what. I don't know, but it just is what it is. So I started experiencing it later on in my life. So yeah, I really could be in the middle of walking and it'll just give away. It was so random. That hadn't happened to me in a while, thank goodness. And I think it's because of the halfway alkaline lifestyle I'm living at the moment. I'm trying to get my life all the way together, because I done loaded up on the alkaline stuff and I still haven't all the way transitioned all the way back into it, y'all. So anyway, I'm like, okay, so her leg went out on her and she ended up falling on her knee. So I'm like, whoa, wow, are you okay? She was like, yeah, I'm fine. She said her knee ended up getting bruised, and so she ended up getting help to get up. Well, then some more time went by. Let me see. I think she said this was 4th of July, around 4th of July, or this was, is it Labor Day or Memorial Day? Whichever one comes after that. One of those situations happened. So not long after the first incident, it happens again, but the other leg went out. She needed my brother to help get her up out the floor again, but this time it ended up being terrible. Meaning, yeah, she fell, but she couldn't feel anything, right? Now keep in mind that prior to all of this, I'm talking about like even before I left home to go to another state, she and my father used to always travel by car, going to various states, and that was like their little getaway time. That's what they would do. And as the years would go by, my mama's back started like really messing with her. And so like my daddy would massage her back, and like we would massage her back. Like it was a whole ordeal. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's arthritis, whatever, right? I still don't know what it is to this day, especially after what has started happening over the years. So her back started to progressively get worse. And it was to the point that when she and my father would travel, she would have a bag of ice and frozen bottles of water in a cooler so that she could pull one or a majority of those out and place it on the part of her back that was in excruciating pain so that she could travel comfortably. It would kind of like deaden the pain a little bit, lessen it, and whatever, right? It started to get so bad over the years that she wouldn't even be able to go from point A to point B, meaning within the city limits of Montgomery, Alabama, to go to the grocery store, to go up the street to my aunt's house that's like less than 20, 30 miles away, which is her best friend. So it's like she's that uncomfortable. She can't even get, like it would be so bad. I remember one of the last times that I was with her when she was actually traveling back and forth. She would be super agitated. We wouldn't even be taking that long to go and get in the vehicle so we could go places or whatever. Like when we would go back and forth to church and stuff like that. Keep in mind the church is less than 2 minutes away from the house, or pretty much is 2 minutes away from the house. She's agitated. Like when we're trying to go anywhere, trying to get back to the house or to leave, like she really like, we need to hurry up, my back killing me, like she's going off. And so we just like, dang, it ain't that serious. Like that's how we're feeling about it, right? Yeah, it turns out it was. So yeah, it just got to the point where she couldn't do that. So then my brother and my father would take over going to get the groceries and going to get anything she would ask for. So yeah, like I said, her back ended up after the next time, after that last time when her legs, her leg went out and she ended up dropping to her knees. That particular time, her back stopped hurting because she became paralyzed. So they had to help her up and they had to basically hoist her into the bed. So yeah, obviously they had to start bathing her and figuring out what they were going to do for the bathroom because she was getting up and going to the bathroom. Her back had started hurting so bad that they wanted to make sure that she was going to be able to get to the bathroom. So just in case, if a situation would happen, we had like one of those portable pots in the bath in their room, my parents' bedroom. So yeah, it just got to a point. It was just like, we got to do what we got to do. So now she can't get up to do nothing. So now it done got to the point, now that they realized what the situation was, they had to go get the pins and all this other stuff. And, that's how everything went initially. As of right now, they have I think she has a catheter and all this stuff. And I think she still does have the pins. So yeah, she literally cannot get out of the bed. They have to bathe her and all that stuff. And so yeah, y'all, my mama's pain went away. And it's like the way she was telling me everything, I'm just looking at the phone. Like, I really had to put the phone on mute because I had started, like, I felt like I was making noises. And I didn't want to alert her to the fact that it was, like, really affecting me heavily, which I'm pretty sure she knew it did. Because I'm the type of person, you got to tell me, Blenda, I need you to be sitting down when I tell you this. They already know you got to do that for me because I get very emotional. I can't do it. So when she started telling me all this stuff, I'm just like, I'm trying to understand, why is my mama paralyzed? Why? My mama do too much for everybody. My mama do the absolute most. She's a housewife, right? My parents agreed upon that being her role when they got together. And it just was what it was. She had the option to work if she wanted to. But my daddy said, I would rather you be at the house. But if you want to do all that, that's fine. As long as you, when you're done working and all that stuff, you can come back to the house and take care of the house and, have the kids and, do what you're supposed to do as the wife and the mother. And I, do what I'm supposed to do as your husband, as a father. So they agreed upon everything before they had us. I was the firstborn. So yeah, but yeah, y'all, when she said all that stuff, I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, what can I, like, it's like, it's too much going on. My cousin that had a stroke. She was like the main cousin that was like the picture of health. So it's like, what in the world going on with this? She's still not all the way 100%. Like, her speech and stuff is still not where it needs to be. Like, she had to tell my daddy in December, he was like, your daughter, I can't think of her name, but she's the one whose name start with an M. I'm just like, oh my gosh, Jesus, I can't help it. This is too much. Like, it's too much. Like, y'all, if y'all knew her, y'all would be very shocked that this happened to her. And I'm just trying to understand what is really going on. There are so many evil people in the world. They get to walk just fine. They get to walk around just fine. They ain't got nothing going on with them outside of the fact that they're evil. But people like my cousin and my mama going through. Like, what is really going on with this? So, my mama, she does things from the bed. My brother has taken over most of the cooking and grilling and pretty much all of the baking because my sister has been so busy nowadays. So yeah, but he does all of that exceptionally well. There was a pound cake that was made that I had over the holiday, y'all. When I tasted it, I said, "Okay, Mom, so since when did you get up and go walk into the kitchen and make this pound cake, right?" And so like we joke like that because we have this running joke of, "Mom, we know you be walking. We know you go when everybody leave the house. You be here by yourself. You get up and go run through the house. You just want Daddy and our brother to take care of you. That's all this is." So we had that running joke. Sometimes she go along with it, and other times, like depending on what we saying, we just like, "Ain't no way." She's like, "No, no, I am broke down," or whatever, right? Y'all don't understand. If you ever had any of my mama's food, baked goods, anything she touched, I don't care if you were brought up in a way where you had something before and you thought it was nasty. If you ain't had it from my mama, you ain't had it before. Because you going to all of a sudden think it's delicious. So anyway, I had the cake. I was like, it smell good. Let me see what it tastes like. Because I'm like, what is going on? And I had just found out that my brother was basically the caterer for my sister's robing ceremony, festivities. They were, y'all, I don't know if I told y'all this or not, but apparently they were playing with how everything was supposed to go down with that. There was supposed to be a budget in place where the people at her job were supposed to throw something where it was going to be catered and all this other stuff. My sister was just like, they played around so long. My sister was like, "Don't worry about it. I do it myself." My sister used her own money to pay for decorations and all the food that was going to be there, all that stuff. Do you know, if I could have showed y'all the live video, them people ate down. The way they was eating, I was like, well, dang, who catered it? So then I just found out it was my brother cooked it all up. When I tell you, people was in corners, eating, wasn't talking. They was huddled up at the table, eating, wasn't talking. I was like, what is they eating? Is it that good? And it was all food that my brother cooked, baked, all of that. But yeah, that pound cake, y'all, I don't care nobody say. My mama she went and walked and stood in the kitchen. My mama has not stood in the kitchen for the duration of her creating, a mixture for a cake, and I don't know how long. Even before I left home, she had started where she would get her ingredients out and sit down and stand and sit down and stand because her back, like I said, started worrying her. Y'all don't understand. It tastes like my mama put every single ingredient in the bowl, mixed it up, and baked it to perfection and everything. I couldn't believe. I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way my brother made this. She was like, I directed your brother, so he did. I was like, I ain't trying to believe. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Y'all do not understand. Oh my gosh, that cake tasted. I had to roll my eye back. This eye rolled. I was like, wait a minute. When did you get up and make this, Mom? She was like, I did not make that. Your brother made that. I was like, no. It tasted like you went and walked in the kitchen and made this. Y'all, but anyway. So after she told me all that initially, y'all, I had to go to work. I couldn't sleep. I think I got less than 30 minutes of sleep, maybe an hour if that. Had to go to work. Went to work. I'm up in there like, man, if I ain't need this job. That day I was working with I don't know if he married or not, man, y'all. At this point, that's what he gonna be called. I don't know if he married or not, man. We were working together coincidentally, and I guess the Lord knew I needed to work with him that night because eventually he said something to me, and what he said made me laugh hysterically, and I really needed that laugh, y'all. I started crying. I really needed that laugh because I had been going through, and after I got off the phone with my mama, I'm crying because I'm just trying to figure out what did my mama do that she deserves this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why After I finally got to accepting that, this isn't temporary, this is something that has happened to her. And she told me that, they told her that she has the option to get surgery, which is not going to guarantee that she is going to be fixed. She could very well go back to the state that she was in before, which is she might be able to walk and get around a little bit, but her back might start back hurting again. The surgery might not work at all, and she stays in the state that she is now, or because she's getting older and she, even though she's still been losing weight, she eat what she want to eat pretty much, but she has her moments where she's eating healthy and all that stuff, right? But because of her age and because of her weight and everything, they can operate on her and she can die on the table. And I'm just like, at this point, I told my mama, after I was finally able to talk about it without getting emotional while talking to her, I straight up told her, I was like, the Lord gonna have to come through because ain't nobody got time for this. Her mama died before I graduated from high school. She had congestive heart failure. She kept going in and out of hospital for that. I done told my mama I don't want her to repeat any of these things. She had already told me that she wanted to see what the alkaline lifestyle was like. And I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to buy the teas and all that stuff and get her to drink them and tell her, like, do this religiously for a week and tell me what happens. Like, don't sneak nothing, whatever. Don't do nothing else. And try to get her to tell me what the results are or whatever, right? Because I know it's going to be baby steps for a lot of people. Even though she is not new to dieting and stuff like that, I don't look at it as a diet. I look at it as a lifestyle. And if you're going to be serious about it, you got to be serious about it because, like, her health, her life is at stake. And I'm just like, that's too much, y'all. I'm actually surprised I didn't burst out into tears discussing my mama. But, y'all, this is real life. It's a lot. And I hadn't had a moment like yesterday sweep over me in a while. It had been a good little while, y'all. So I was very shocked that was happening. I just ask that y'all pray for my family because it's too much going on. My cousin had a stroke not too long after our last living, at least my last living grandparent passed away. Both of our grandmother. Then she had a stroke. And I'm just like, then, you know what I'm saying? A couple of years later, everything started happening with my uncle. And now my mama. All this stuff it's just too much going on, y'all. It's really too much. So yeah, y'all. I kind of feel a little bit relieved now that I finally told y'all what was going on because it has been kind of hard to keep stuff from y'all. I told y'all I like to talk to y'all about a lot of stuff. I like to be somewhat of an open book. And hopefully it's not going to be something that's going to be thrown in my face like certain people used to do to me. And it's like, as much as I know about you, I never throw stuff like that in your face. But anyway, just pray for us. I'm praying for a healing, meaning like the woman who had the issue of blood. Thank y'all so much for all y'all support. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.